Hi, everyone, and welcome to ATP Live. We're trying to start about 5 minutes early so that I can use that time to do all my sharing and all that, and then we can kickstart the program exactly at 6 p.m. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm just going to share the video and put it in the right places before we start. I guess that 5 minutes will give me some extra time. Okay, yeah. So welcome everybody. Those who are listening on ATP Live Audio Room, watching on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, you are all welcome. We're going to start at 6 p.m. on the dot, but I just want to use this time to quickly share to some of our other groups as well. So just bear with me. In the meantime, please invite friends, invite anyone, parents, caregivers, anyone that should be listening to ATP Live. Please invite them to join us now. Welcome everybody, and if you have questions, you can also begin to drop your questions on time so that we have enough time to go through all the questions. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm just sharing the video to all our various groups so that everybody could have access to watch. And then we will start on 6 on the dots. Okay, just a few more minutes. But I'm just making sure everybody can see ATP Live. Okay, welcome. Please start dropping your questions for those who are watching on Instagram, YouTube, listening on audio. You can drop your questions as well in the discussion box, and I will try and read all the questions. I just want to make sure the video is pinned on our various groups and everybody can see it. All right, okay. I hope you'll be having a beautiful Monday, 23rd of May 2022. So ATP Live is a program where you can ask any questions you have about your children's health issues, and we'll try and answer all of them in the next 1 hour. So please ask your questions. You can drop them in comment sections. You can drop them on the comments under the video, whichever platform you're watching from. But if you're watching on our groups, you have to go to the video itself and go to the page to drop your questions. But if you don't have any question, it is okay. You can just watch the video. So I think I'm done now, and it's just 1 minute more, so that's good. I think I'll be doing this starting 5 minutes early so I can share all the videos, and then we can go straight to start the program proper at 6 on the dots. All right, so let me start properly now. I want to welcome everyone to Ask the Pediatricians Live for the Monday, 23rd of May, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Gbemisola Boyede. I'm a pediatrician, founder and CEO of Ask the Pediatricians Foundation. Ask the Pediatricians Foundation is committed to the health and welfare of children globally, but we are primarily based in Nigeria. And one of our platforms for doing that is our Facebook group and all our social media platform. And one of our program is what you're watching now is ATP Live, where you have opportunity to ask any questions that has to do with the health of your children, and I will try and answer them in the next 1 hour. So feel free to drop your questions, whether you're watching on Instagram. Somebody said my audio is a little bit low. Let me see if I can increase the volume. Okay, is it better? Shami for King. Hope it's better. Let me know. Okay. So you can drop your questions in the comment section, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Live Audio Room. Try and drop your questions now, and then we'll try and answer them. But I just want to announce to you that we have started our Children's Day community medical outreaches. Yes, we have started. And if you're on our Facebook group, you would have seen the pictures of the outreach in Delta State on Saturday. And this coming Saturday is going to be the major, a lot of the states in Nigeria are going to have their outreaches, and some are still going to have outreaches on the first week of June. So every May/June, each year we devote it to celebrating our children. Children's Day is actually the 27th of May 2022. However, we usually celebrate our Children's Day by doing community medical outreaches, and we usually go to communities that are very disadvantaged or very underserved, and we go there with our free community medical outreaches. We do our health talk, we do free consultations, some have dental consultation procedures, we deworm the children, we do their nutritional assessment, we give them food, we give them drugs, and we just have fun with the children. So we've started already, and we're looking forward to reaching about 100,000 children. So we appreciate your support for our community medical outreaches. It's not too late, and nothing is too small to give. So if you want to donate, you can donate 1,000 naira, 5,000 naira, 2,000 naira, any amount you have, 100,000, 1 million. Send it to our account details showing on your screen, 0258 158 136 Guaranteed Trust Bank, or you can go to our website www.askthepediatricians.com, or you can go to our global giving page. Just search for Ask the Pediatricians Foundation, and you can donate there for those who are overseas. So we appreciate you. We look forward to your support. I know that everything you give us is going to be useful for reaching one child in Nigeria. So we're looking forward to you supporting our community medical outreaches. I think later I may share some of the flyers, but they are all on our Facebook group. I don't think you would have mixed it. So please support ATP as we reach out to children who are living in our communities, as we celebrate the Children's Day with them. So thank you so much. That's all the announcement I have. And I'm just going to start answering our questions now. And today I think I'll start with those on. Okay, I don't have any comments on Live Audio Room, so I'll start with those on Instagram. Then we can now go on to Facebook. All right, I'll try and answer your question in 1 hour. But if you still have any questions beyond this program, remember we have 4 Facebook groups where you can ask your questions from Mondays to Saturdays, 24 hours every day. We are always answering questions. So feel free to go to Ask the Pediatricians Facebook group. You can't miss it. You can always ask any else questions related to that of your children on Ask the Pediatricians. For the adults, we have the ATP Family Facebook group where you can ask about your own health issues. We also have ATP Still a Mom for those who have been bereaved or who have need of emotional or psychological support for the loss of a pregnancy or a child. And we also have First Time Mom Baby Care Group for where you can learn more about all our First Time Mom series and products that have been designed to help you navigate your first year as a mother. So I really, really recommend you check out those groups. So we have just 1 hour for the program, but beyond the program, there are other avenues where you can still get answers to your question. Please follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, on Twitter. We also have podcasts, Ask Dr. Gbemi ATP. And so please follow ATP. We also have our website where you can read, or if you want to read more about any of the topics we addressed today, you can head over to our website at www.askthepediatricians.com, and you can also look through our magazines to see all the various programs we've been doing, all the outreaches we've been doing. You can go through them on our website, our gallery. We always have annual magazine that chronicle our outreaches. You can download it for free, and you can go through to see what we are doing, and you can actually volunteer as well from our website as well. So thank you so much. I think that's all my announcement. All right, let's go straight to the program itself. All right. The first question I'm having today is from Show Me for King. Okay, Show Me for King is asking, is it good to clean my baby's inner ears with cotton wool? I guess you mean cotton bud, because her hair is always itching. She's 10 months old. The short answer is no. No, no, no. Please do not use the cotton bud in the ears of children. That is not appropriate. But when it doesn't clean out anything, it's actually can push things further down, and you can actually consciously or unconsciously injure the inner ear, and then that can cause hearing loss for the child. So if your child is itching the hair, you may need to get the doctor to look into the hairs. We have a special equipment for looking into the hairs. We have what we call the oroscope or otoscope that we can use. Please do not try to do it by yourself. Most of the time, the wax in the child's hair should flow out by itself. Sometimes it may be a little bit hard or thick and it's not flowing out. What you need to do is to drop in olive oil into the hair, just one drop in the hair, and it will soften the wax so that the wax will flow out by itself and you can just clean it. What you see coming out, you can clean. But please do not insert anything in the hairs, because that can lead to rupturing of the eardrum and hearing loss for the child. So I hope that is clear. Then the next question, Amara King say exclusive breastfeeding, because I was already giving up. I was able to do extras with cup and spoon. Amara, I think you must have said something earlier, because it seems I'm reading the tail end of your write-up and I'm not really understanding. Are you saying you are grateful for us, encouraging you to? Okay, yes, I've seen it now. No, no, no. I didn't see any comments there. Okay. So I'm not sure I understand your question. So, Amara, are you asking whether you should not give up about exclusive breastfeeding, or are you telling us you were successful with it? It's a little bit difficult for me to understand the question. If you don't mind, you can just post the question again and I'll answer them. Then Olola Day, good evening, Doc. My baby is almost 6 months, and a few days ago, I noticed her left breast, there's little lumps. Though I have been pressing it, you shouldn't have. She's not giving me any strain sign or feeling any pain. You should never press the breast of the children. Okay, it is not unusual for babies to have enlarged breasts. It's usually the same hormone that you have that make your breast be enlarged. As some of those hormones also pass on to the baby, and they work on the baby's breast and cause the enlargement. But the good thing is that they wear out, so the breast will eventually come down on its own. It is that pressing that you're doing is actually the problem, because in that process, you can introduce some germs. It can cause what we call infection, mastitis, or even sometimes it can lead to pus accumulating in the breast, causing what we call breast abscess, which will not create unnecessary problem. If your baby's breast is big, all you need to do is just leave it alone. Do not press it, do not massage it, do nothing. Just leave it alone. It will go down by itself. I'm not really sure why we always have the need to always press anything that is swollen. The truth of the matter is that there's actually nothing swollen that should be pressed. I'm just thinking back now, as far as doctors are concerned, there's nothing swollen that should be pressed. Even if your baby eats the head and have a swollen head, you shouldn't press it. So, but people always, it's always like it's a knee check response for us to always press anything that is swollen. But it's actually the complete opposite to what we should be doing. So anything is swollen, if you're not sure what it is, then you need to see a doctor to know what it is. But please do not press them. Just leave them alone. But for newborn babies, we know that that is completely normal. We know it's part of the effect of the mother's hormone. It is nothing to worry about. You don't need to press it. You don't need to do anything to it. It is that pressing that will create unnecessary problems for the child. So just leave it alone. It doesn't hurt them. All right. Okay. Moyo, sorry. Thank you for joining us. Next question. Mentor mama, please. My baby of 7 months poops like 3 to 4 times a day. It's loose stools, it's greenish, no vomiting, no temperature. Baby is active. Is there need to be worried? There's nothing to be worried about. Babies passing stool 3 to 4 times a day is not a problem. And what we are worried about is about the texture of the stool. Is it like watery, or is it normal texture, like soft stool? So you say it's loose, but I'm not really sure whether it's loose as in watery or loose as in it's not very hard and thick and all that. So you really need very clear. Then the color, because your baby is 7 months old, your baby is eating food. You need to watch, is the stool from the pigment of what your child is eating. For example, your baby is eating a lot of green veggies and all that. It can give the color a greenish stool as well. So it's possible. But if your baby is passing what look like scanty greenish stool that is very watery, then that is likely going to be what we call starvation stool, because that may be that your baby is not getting enough food. So that is a different. But if it's a bulky stool or stool that is a lot of them or greenish, it may be a stain from maybe what your baby has eaten. So the most important thing is that you're feeding your baby well, and that your baby, if your baby is eating something greenish and the stool is green, we're not going to worry about that. We will only worry if your baby is having watery stool that is greenish or that is even scanty. Then that is telling us your baby is not getting enough food. So you need to keep breastfeeding your baby. And in addition to breastfeeding, a 7-month-old should be on complementary feeding. Again, you need to go through our teaching on complementary feeding for more information about that. I hope that is clear. Okay, Amara Kings, we did it for Amara. I think you need to start your question from the beginning, because you said we did it for 1 month, you started rejecting it again. I went back to breastfeeding directly. But I think you should just ask your question over again. It's like you're just saying bits and bits, and I'm not making sense of it. Start from my baby is so months old. This is my concern, and go on from there. And I will understand. If I don't understand, I won't be able to answer you properly, and it will be giving us a lot of problems. Okay. Okay, I still don't understand your question. You still have to ask your question all over again, starting with the age of your baby, your concern. Okay, yes, I think I can see your summary now. My baby is adding weight slowly, 0.2 kg per month. I hope it's 0.2 kg, because you didn't say that. I have flagged up. It was examined. It's okay. So what I need to know, Amara, how old is your baby? What is the birth weight of your baby? What is the current weight of your baby? That is the information I need to know to answer your question. I really need to know that information. Then I can see that you are breastfeeding. Are you exclusively breastfeeding and all that? That's all I need to know. So can you give me those information, and I will give you the right answer. Okay. The flesh above. Okay, you're asking another question. There's a flesh above your 4-month-old baby's penis. It looked like that's much fat depositing from a spread. Is it normal? I'm not really sure I understand that, but if you have seen a doctor, I imagine that you have asked them, and did they tell you whether it's something to worry about or not? If your doctor have seen it, and your doctor, because it's easier for somebody who has seen it to comment about it. If they've seen it and they say it's normal, then there's no reason for you to worry. But your questions were all coming in snippets, and it's I really need to understand them. So if you feel like I've not answered any of your question, Amara, feel free to ask them, because you were saying so many things, but they were not all together, so it was difficult for me to understand all of them. Okay, so I will leave Instagram and I'll add to Facebook and quickly start answering Facebook question. Good evening. Okay, good evening. Somebody say, how do one care for preauricular pits in a 2-year-old to avoid recurrence? So if your baby has preauricular pits, which for those who may not understand what that means, some babies have what look like a hole, as if you put a hole at the beginning of the hair. Normally most of you put your hole in the lower hair lobe, but when babies have a hole at the upper part, at the beginning of the hair, we call it preauricular pits. Most of them, they don't do any harm to the baby and they are fine. But sometimes some of them can get infected. It will be bringing out pus and you have to give baby antibiotics. And sometimes it will keep coming and going for a while. So if that is happening, then the ENT doctors, they can do a simple procedures and take it out completely. They can clear out that hole and kind of, we call it excision. They excise it out, they remove it completely. So, but if it is not giving the baby any problem, there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing you can do about it to prevent it happening in another child. If a child already has it, so I don't understand what you mean by reoccurrence. If by reoccurrence you mean happening in another child, there's nothing you can do about it. If by reoccurrence you meant it's getting infected and infected over again, then the solution is operation. The ENT doctors can operate and remove it completely. So I hope I've answered the question. The Facebook user, you need to really very specific. If not, if you think I've not addressed your question, ask the question again. And this time around, be very much more specific about what you're worried about. Is it the infection coming over and over again, or is it happening in another child, so that we are sure which one is your exact worry. All right, the next person I have on Facebook say, Doctor, my 1 year, 3 months old baby Qatar has refused to go. We have gone to hospital several times. It keeps going and coming back. So when you're asking question, always put a timeline to it. Your Qatar has refused to go. For how long? You've never told us whether it's 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. It's not specified. So, but all I know is that it's something that's been going on and off. So, but it's not clear to us how long that is, whether it's 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. But if a child is having recurrent Qatar, or runny nose and all that, is maybe one of the conditions we call allergic rhinitis. So in that case, you need to see a pediatrician or the ENT doctors, because the management for the allergic rhinitis is different from children who just have the normal viral infection that will just go away. It shouldn't be coming back and on and off. But if it's happening over and over again, then it's most likely something chronic or allergic, and the approach is a bit different. And more importantly, is actually to know what is the trigger and to avoid it if possible. All right. Okay, now let's move on. So you say you've been going to hospital several times. So sometimes you have gone to an hospital several times for any condition and it's not going, then you should ask to be referred. Actually, most doctors know that anyway, but in case your doctor is not doing that, you can always ask, can I see the specialist? So for every condition, for every part of the body, there is always a specialist for that part of the body. So if the doctor you've seen and you've gone over and over again and not able to address the problem, it means it is time for you to see the expert, the specialist in that area. There's hardly any part of the body that does not have its own specialist. So for the nose, for example, the ENT doctors are the specialists. So if the medical officers or the general practitioners have tried to handle the cat over and over again, it's not going, it is time to see the ENT doctor. Those are the experts when it comes to things that have to do with the nose. So that is how we normally do in medicine. There are some conditions that any doctor can treat, but if every doctor is having difficulty, then they take it to the next level, which is to go to the experts in that particular field. For example, if it's a skin problem, you've gone to your usual doctors, they've treated it over and over, and you are not getting any resolution, then you have to go to the skin doctors, which are the dermatologists. Those are the people that you have to see. So I just want to chip in that so that you don't keep going back to the same place, keep doing the same thing and no solution. Some condition, of course, do not have solution, and you have to keep going back and forth. But it's even always good for you to see the experts in those areas so that at least you've gotten all the experts' opinion first. All right. The next question: 9 months old is sitting in a tripod, yet to sit independently, but the baby can crawl. That's very unusual. The baby can crawl and yet baby cannot sit independently. It's a very unusual. There are some things that normally happen in development. So we say development is cephalocausal. In other words, development always progress in a particular order. In other words, so babies must be able to sit before they will crawl. Most babies could not crawl if they cannot sit. So that is usually what we call a deviation, and it's very, very unusual. So it's either you are not telling us baby is crawling, because it is not every movement that is crawling. I think some mothers do get that wrong. Babies can always roll, they can always move, but that is not crawling. Crawling means they are going on all their fours and they're moving, and the child who is crawling will be able to get into that crawling position, finish that crawling position, and get back into sitting position. That is crawling. So if a baby is just moving on their tummy and rolling up and down your bed, that is not crawling. We call that rolling. So it is not crawling. So because a baby who is not able to sit should not be crawling. That is actually the truth. So it's very, very unusual presentation. But I think you should see a pediatrician, because sometimes sometimes it's better we see it and then we decide. Sometimes parents tell us based on your own understanding, but a professional will see the child and then they will make up their mind what is actually going on, and then they'll be able to advise you appropriately. So, but a 9-month-old should be able to sit without any support, with the back straight. That is what we mean by sitting without support. The spine is in a straight position, and that is sitting independently. And that child, if that child is crawling, the child should be able to go into crawling and go back into sitting with the back straight, not the one they are bending forward. That is not sitting without support. All right, the next question. Good evening, ma'am. What is your take on using fruits as sweeteners in baby's meal or as spirits? It's okay for babies to eat fruits. It's okay for you to add fruits to their cereals or to their food. So there's nothing wrong with that. Fruits, vegetables, you can never go wrong with them. They are always okay. So you can present them in different ways. The children can eat the fruits on its own, or you can add it to other food. It's fine as long as the child is able to eat it. But please remember that 6 to 12 months is a wide range. So the kind of way you present fruit to a 6-month-old is not the same way you're going to present it to a 12-month-old. So you have to be mindful of that, okay? And the kind of fruit that children can eat. So for 6 months, most of the time, you have to, like, if it's like things like solid fruits, you have to kind of puree it and all that. But by the time they're about 1 year old, they can actually eat it straight away in small bits and all that. So there's a huge gap in the presentation, the texture of the food as against the food itself. The food itself is always not a problem, but the way you present it is going to be different from a 6-month-old or to a 1-year-old. And if you want more information on that, if you head over to our Facebook group, we have our guide section, and you can have more information on that, on complementary feeding. There's nothing wrong with fruits at all. Somebody say, when can a baby start carrying their neck? 3 months old. We expect 3 months old to be able to have what we call neck control. So when babies are born, the newborn babies, their neck is always like that. If you carry them like this, their head just fall as if there's nothing there. But when they're about 3 months old, they should be able to. So when you carry them up, their head is moving with the rest of the body. It's not falling anyhow like that. It's straight. So averagely 3 months old. And some babies at most by 4 months old. So if by 4 months old there's no neck control, or there's what we call head lag, then that is a delay in development, and that child should see a pediatrician. If you're a first time mom, all this information, you can get the FTM companion, you will have all of them there, and you will know what is normal developmental milestones and when to worry and when not to worry. Somebody saying my baby's leg shakes when she's sleeping, and when I told it stop. When I hold it, okay, it stops. If she's 6 months old, do I need to worry? Okay, so babies sometimes can shake their leg a bit when they're sleeping. This is nothing to worry about. We call it big medical jargon, benign myoclonus. It's just like a shake when they're sleeping. That is nothing to worry about. Please, there are two different types. So maybe can actually have convulsions when they're sleeping as well. And usually for those one, they check more, and it is very forceful, and it will wake them up. If they wake up and they will cry and all that, those are not the benign stuff, and those are seizures. So, but the one I'm talking about is just like a little shake, and it will not be one hand, it may move to the other hand the next time and all that. It's not something that will go on for long, like minutes or anything. No, just a little shake and that's it. So if you are not sure which one it is, I always say record it on a video and share it. You can share it on our Facebook group, for example, or you can show your doctor or your pediatrician when you see them, and then they will tell you, okay, this is the normal that we're not worried about. This is a seizure, But if anything is, if the child is shaking, the child is waking up, the child is crying, it is going on for 1 minute and longer, that is most likely a seizure rather than a benign myoclonus, which is the one that we are not worried about. Okay, somebody said, at what point will I teach my boy how to see? You don't need to teach children how to see. You don't need to teach them any developmental milestones. They develop it by themselves. So that is it. And what is the cause of Ela? So Ela is a Yoruba word for rashes, but there are not, they use it for many different kind of rashes which medically have different names and different causes and different treatments. So there's nothing like Ela and a specific one diagnosis and a specific treatment. No. So if you think your child has rashes, we have to see it. Okay, no doctor will treat a rash without seeing it. So all those people that, oh, my baby has a rash, they write, they quickly tell you, go and buy this particular product. They are fake and quacks, and I know a lot of mothers do that. It is not right. That's not how things are done. We need to see a rash. There are some rashes you don't need to trace. There are some rashes that are fine. They're just going to go on their own. There are rashes that you just need to stop the wrong thing you're doing. Maybe the product, your baby is reacting to the product you're using. And there are rashes that are infection and need antibiotics or antifungal cream. There are rashes that allergic kind of reaction. So there are different kind of rashes. There are different causes of the rashes, and the approach is different. So there is no one particular product. And I know many of you like to, and I don't blame parents. I think I blame the advertisement of those products. Some people like to say, oh, the baby has rash, they just go and buy product A because that product cures all sorts of rashes. That is absolutely not true. There is no product that solve all your rashes or skin rashes problem. And unfortunately, if you use the wrong product for the wrong type of rash, you can actually make the rash worse. And that's why some of people say, when I start using this product, the things actually even get worse instead of getting better, because that means there's actually nothing that does everything. So this particular Facebook user, you must be a first-time mom. Okay, it's only first-time mom that will ask about sitting, developmental milestones, and then go on straight to Ela in the same breath. That is how you know a first-time mom. Okay, so I'll recommend you get a copy of the First-Time Mom Companion. You will have all the information about, all these various, because first-time mom always have like hundreds of questions, and each of these things are being addressed in that. Or you can also just get a copy of the 500 frequently asked questions by first-time mom as well. You will really find it as a good investment in your journey, motherhood journey. Okay, so I'll recommend that for you. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let me see. Okay, the next question. My baby is 7.48 kilos at 4 months. Birth weight is 3.9. I'm on mixed feeding. It will be 5 months on 31st. At what month do I start teach? Okay, I think it's the same person that's asking this question. Okay, yeah, your baby should be on exclusive breastfeeding. Okay, that's what I recommend for a 5 month old. All right, I think we've answered your question. I think we're only just giving us more information. All right, the next question. My breast milk is not coming out. Though I'm taking a booster, I had formula to the baby food. Is it bad? Why is your breast milk not coming out? I think that's what I really want to know first. How old is your baby? Why is your breast milk not coming out? How can we help you? There are actually people that we call lactation consultants. That is their job, to help you with this breastfeeding journey. I know we don't have many of them in Nigeria, but most of our nurses are de facto, most of our midwives are de facto lactation consultants, most of the pediatricians we have. So the most important thing is to understand breastfeeding, what is happening. Breastfeeding, you're not breastfeeding from your breast, you're actually breastfeeding from your brain. Okay. I know that sounds funny, but breast milk production depends on hormones, and those hormones they are produced in the brain. So if a mother is stressed, if you are worried, if you are anxious, your brain produces what we call stress hormones, and those stress hormones will stop breastfeeding. Okay, because they will like, oh no, we need to focus on getting the mother safe first rather than producing breast milk. So that is why we always tell mothers there are what we call 10 steps to successful breastfeeding. We also have what we call breastfeeding, baby friendly hospitals. The goal of those things is to help mothers navigate breastfeeding. Unfortunately, I see there are a lot of people that instead of helping mothers, supporting them to breastfeed, they are very quick to tell you, go and buy formula, go and do this. They actually are very negative, and then you become more worried and you panic and about your baby starving and all that. You're not going to breastfeed that way, and that is actually the problem. So for a mom to breastfeed, your baby needs to be near you. You need to think good thoughts about your baby. You need to hear your baby cry. You need to feel your baby, because this is those cry, those nearness of your baby, they stimulate those hormones that will make you to produce more breast milk. Okay, then your baby needs to suck on the breast milk. So most mothers are waiting for the milk to flow for them to breastfeed their baby. And I always tell mothers, the breast is waiting for the breast needs to be sucked for the milk to be produced. That is actually the truth. Because the nature abhors waste. Okay, so the body is not going to produce something that is not needed. Breast milk is demand and supply. If there's no demand on your breast, there will be no breast milk production. So when people rush to buy formula when they are not lactating, you are actually working against breastfeeding, because when your baby is taking the formula, your baby is not sucking on the breast, then breast milk will not be produced. So if you want your baby to suck, if you want to lactate, then your baby needs to suck on the breast. Okay, August is our breastfeeding week. Again, we'll go through all these things all over again. I found out that when mothers are prepared, you have all this information, you are more likely to be successful in breastfeeding because you know what is going on. So you're not lactating. That is not the time to rush your formula. That is time to put your baby to the breast and let the baby suck. It is that sucking of the breast that will let the milk flow. That's the principle. And the more your baby suck, the more the milk will flow. It is a demand and supply mechanism. And the more you are relaxed, the more you are at rest, the more you are confident that you can breastfeed, the more the hormones that promote breastfeeding will be produced. But the more you are anxious, the more you are stressed, the less of those hormones that will be produced and the less of breast milk that will be produced. So whenever I'm advising moms about breastfeeding, I tell you, just relax, relax, relax. This is not just trying to make you feel good. It's actually the solution. You need to be relaxed to lactate. You need to rest. You need to be confident that you can do it. You need to eat well, drink water. You don't need to eat anything unnecessary or take palm wine or anything. You don't need all those things. You just need to relax, be confident you can do it, and then keep putting the baby to the breast. And of course, when you're putting your baby to the breast, you need to make sure that your baby is properly lashed onto the breast. We have a lot of breastfeeding videos. I would encourage you to watch them, because sometimes baby are sucking on the nipple rather than on the areola. And when your baby is sucking on the nipple, It's frustrating for the baby, it's frustrating for the mother, because when baby suck on the nipple, no milk is flowing out, because the milk bank, or where the milk are stored, they are not in the nipple, they are on those black parts beyond the nipple, what we call the areola. So your baby has to put their mouth on that part for the milk to flow. And then when the milk flow, the baby is sucking it, then more will be coming down to fill it. So it is very important that we know that breastfeeding is both and heart is something that you have to learn. It's something that you need to be supported to do. And rushing to formula is not going to be the solution to it. So please, I would recommend that you get support around breastfeeding. It's not like it's bad for you to give formula to your baby. That's not the issue. But there are benefits that your baby will get only from breast milk. The breast milk is still the best. Your baby will never get your protection, your antibodies. They're not going to get it from formula. And that is why the WHO, the UNICEF, the pediatricians will want you to breastfeed your baby, because that is the best for your baby, okay? But if you need help, get the right help. And it's better that way than to rush to formula, because there are other difficulties with that, which I don't have time to go into. But I hope I've been able to encourage you to understand why, how to go about getting back it's never too late to get back to breastfeeding. With the right support, your milk will still flow. And if you watch all our breastfeeding videos, you will be able to, get more information. All right. I think let's take one more question, and I'll go to Instagram. All right, somebody, Inonge Shalewa. Good evening. Thanks for the good work. Thank you. Thank you. But your baby is 1 year, 2 months old. He's bringing out teeth, but he has been walking while holding things. From where he was 9 months old, he crawls using bottom shifting. Now, do babies who crawl using bottom shifting take long to walk? Yeah, it is actually true. So most babies will walk by 1 year, but some babies are so fast with their bottom shuffling, as we call it, that they don't just want to stand up and walk. But we're not worried about it. Usually we start worrying if your baby is not walking by 18 months. But even for babies that are bottom shuffling, sometimes we actually give them up to like 23 months or 2 years before we start to worry, because they are just so fast on the bum, they don't want to stand up and walk. But I will not worry about it. Just give baby some time more and see. But if by 18 months your baby is not yet walking on his own, then you may want to see a pediatrician just to check that there's nothing else to worry about. Okay, let me go to Instagram. I'll come back. I'm checking. There's no question on live audio. If you have a question, please drop it in comments, discussion button, and I will answer it. All right, so let's go. Okay, no, where did I stop? Okay. Okay, yeah, I know where I stop now. So, Metoma, how do I check on complementary feeding? Is if you go to our Facebook group, just post this question there. One of our moderators will be able to guide you. But if you go to our Facebook group, in the menu section, there's a guide section. You can't miss guides. If you click on guides, you will see breastfeeding is the first guide. Complementary feeding is number 2. So you can't miss them. But if you are lost, just ask and somebody will guide you. Somebody, Amara King said, can Implanon family planning affect breast milk? No, it does not. Implanon is a progesterone breast milk, and progesterone based family planning method, and it's completely safe in breastfeeding. It doesn't affect your breast milk at all. It does not. It has nothing to do with it. Moyo, sorry. Good evening, dog. My 16-month-old baby sweat a lot on her forehead and neck when she's sleeping and when the fan is on. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with baby sweating. I mean, the issue is the room well ventilated? Are your windows open? You have to make sure all that is the baby sweating more when everybody is cold. That is when we start to worry. But it depends on the ventilation and of the room and all that. So if the room is like ice cold and everybody else is shivering and your baby is sweating, then that's when we will worry about it. So I would just say dress your baby light, open your windows. Most of us are sleeping with the fan, but our windows are not open. Fan is actually a circulation agent. It's not generating any. You're supposed to use it with your windows open so that the breeze can circulate, and don't overdress baby as well. Some of us also wear too much heavy clothes. Remember the weather, if you're in a hot, humid environment, light squares, and let the window be open, let there be a lot of ventilation. But I'm not so worried. Okay. Can a 9 month old use fairly cold water to birth? So honestly, there's no cold or hot water. We just want normal temperature water for babies to bath, even from day zero. So what is the normal temperature water? Is like a water that you can put your hand in comfortably. So if you can put your hand inside that water, you are not like it's too hot, it's too cold. So people will say like if you open the tap, well, let's open the tap on a normal day, not when the weather is really so cold or when it's so hot, because that can also affect your tap. So I actually don't like using that tap analogy because some tap water can change depending on the temperature of the environment as well. But any water that is comfortable that you can put your hand in is fine. Don't use water that is cold that the baby is shivering and all that, because when the water pour on them, they jump. But I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. There's a water you pour on anybody's body, even a baby, and they're fine. But if you pour water on them, it's too hot or they are jumping because it's too cold, you should stay away from that. That is what we recommend. And there's no, I know Nigerian mothers believe that you need to train your babies with a particular kind of cold water and all that. There's no need for that. All those ones just unnecessary hardship for the babies. There's really no need for all that. Okay, Amarakin, so your baby is 4 months old. Birth weight is 4 kilos. Yeah, at 14 weeks, your baby is 5.9. That's that at 14 weeks, that's at 3 months, 3.5 months. On exclusive breastfeeding, he has solid. Yes, I'm definitely worried about your baby. Your baby was a big baby, 4 kilos at birth, and it's just weighing 5.9, just 2 kilos after like 3.5 months. That's not so good. Your baby should be at least gaining at least 1 kilo every month. Um, a large well, it is not 0.2 kg per month. It's almost 2 kilos, so that's about 0.5. It's not that bad, but it's about one that we expect. And I like this well. You stop for 3 to 5 minutes and stop. Now, 3 to 5 minutes sounds small for a baby to suck, and stop and doc examine him. Okay. So for a baby that is that big and is now not gaining weight well, I'll really say get to see a pediatrician. Let's be sure there's nothing else wrong. There are other questions we need to ask you, but I'm not once going to be able to ask you on this kind of a program right now. We need to know, why was your baby big? Are you diabetic in pregnancy? And all that. That's the first question we're going to be asking you. And if you're diabetic and your baby is an infant with a diabetic mother, then we actually have to look for other things that will be affecting the baby's gaining weight. But your baby is sucking 3 to 5 minutes is small. Okay, that is small. For baby should suck nothing less than, like, at least not less than 10 minutes, you know, averagely. So some will do 20 minutes. So 5 minutes, 3 minutes is fine. Then when your baby suck, how long does your baby sleep for before your baby will wake? So baby that sucks well, they'll be awake, they can sleep for another 3 hours before the next feed. So then make sure you are properly attaching your baby to the breast. Make sure your baby is not sucking on the nipple, because you're lactating well. So I'm happy you're lactating well, which means you're producing enough breast milk. So you need to make sure I think you said something about you've done expressing the breast milk and all that. So the question is, when you were expressing, how much quantity was baby finishing? We need to know that, because that's what we normally need to do. We need to know how much does a baby finish. Okay, because that will give us an idea whether your baby is getting enough milk first. So those are the questions. Those are the kind of questions we'll be asking you if I see you one-on-one. So it's important for your baby. Your baby should be taking nothing at least 100 mils to 120 mils of breast milk per feed, and baby should be taking that like 8 times in a day. So you need to make sure your baby is getting that. And I'm not sure your baby is going to get that in 3 minutes of sucking. So if you are breastfeeding well, if you're lactating well, you can express your breast milk, so you can have an idea. It's just for you to have an idea of how much quantity your baby finish at a go. So you want to know whether your baby is getting enough of the milk first, and every 3 hours. So if you do that, then you can see whether your baby is getting enough milk. Your baby is getting enough milk, and your baby is not gaining weight well, then we need to know why. Is there something physically wrong with the baby? So that is where we now begin to examine the child, looking for other medical issues, because your baby was really big. So I don't expect your baby not to be gaining weight well, unless there are other medical issues. So that if you have not seen a pediatrician, I would recommend you see one. Okay, it's better to see a pediatrician than just any general doctor when it comes to condition where you are worried about things like that. Okay. I think okay, no question on live audio. Let me go back to Facebook. The next question, Prudence Mona say a lump in the scrotal sac of a 2-month-old. Doctor said it's anemia, waiting for the baby to grow. That's why I to operate. The older brother suffered the same. What might be the cause? I'm not sure. You already know the cause. You told us it's anemia. So I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you asking why is it happening again in the same family? Because you already know the cause. You say your doctor told you to say hernia, it's inguinal hernia, so it's possible. It's something that can happen. So, but why is it happening recurrent in your family? I'm not really sure. It's not really one of those conditions that tends to occur recurrently. So, unless it's occurring in addition to some other medical conditions. But hernia does not tend to be recurrent like that. But it may just be pure coincidence that you're having the same in your two boys. But it's nothing to worry about. It's one of those minor stuff. So just it's a minor procedure. You don't need to worry so much about it. Another question. I heard it is wrong for a 7-year-old to have hair in her private parts. Who said that? Please be careful where you hear. Okay, people are always saying, "Oh, I heard this, I heard that." You don't always have to believe everything you hear. The first thing you need to do when you hear anything, especially in this era of what we call infodemic. Infodemic means there are lots of information, and half of them are wrong information. It's the battle of this century now. How to differentiate the right information from the wrong information. But I'll just give you a few tips. When you hear information, number one, who is the authority? Anybody can say anything. Anybody can put anything online. You need to know, does this person has the authority to talk about that particular topic or give that particular information? Is the person a health professional? Is the person a trained professional? What is the pedigree of this person? So anybody can just say anything, but you can't just take what they say without making sure you verify that information. So a 7-year-old having hair in the private part on under the armpits, it's not like it is the wrong thing, but it is what we call early puberty. In other words, the child is developing things early. Most girls will do it by 8 years old, but some do it earlier, and you already tell her that this girl look like 12 to 13. So maybe if she's a big girl, I don't know why she's really big in the first instance. So that may explain why she's developing puberty early. So if you're worried about that, you see the pediatricians, then we can decide whether is it just a normal thing, because some things could be normal for a particular age, but it can happen earlier in some children, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with those children. They are fine. But in some children, it could be a sign of some other medical conditions, and we have to figure out what condition is going on and how do we address it. So that is what I would say about that. But we know that it can happen, and it can happen even normally in some children. We call it premature adrenarche, or although it's something that's occurring too early than, compared to what is average, but it does not mean there's anything wrong with those children. I hope that is clear. Then Tosin, what did she say? My 6-month-old has refused to eat anything given to her, but when given smoothly, okay, I don't understand what you mean. You say, okay, you mean something that has to be given to the child to be smooth? Okay, I've gone through complementary feeding. So what were you supposed to be giving a 6-month-old before? Were you supposed to be giving a 6-month-old something rough? It has to be smooth. I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. Okay, because you said your baby is not refused to eat anything when given, but when given smoothly. So I guess I understand that part to mean If your baby is given something, unless the texture is smooth, the baby will not take it. For a 6-month-old, that is what we expect. That is normal. Your 6-month-old is not supposed to take something coarse or rough or gritty. 7-month-old, they have to take smooth stuff. So that is why most people start with cereals or purees, all those kind of stuff. So there's nothing wrong with this. 6-month-old is just starting. So you just started complementary feeding. So please be patient. Don't rush. I'm not sure how many things you've given a 6-month-old. The 6-month-old should be taking only 2 complementary feeds a day. The majority of the food should still be breast milk. And yes, the texture has to be smooth at 6 months old because they're just starting. They are moving from liquid, completely liquid, and they're going to semi-solid. It has to be smooth, semi-solid. It has to be something smooth. That is why things like cereals, but you can do cereals like it can be rice cereals, it can be maize cereals, and of course you can add other things to it. Maybe, for example, you can add a little bit of crayfish, or a little bit of maybe it's egg, and you have to mix it. I'm sure you've done the complementary video, so you understand what I'm talking about. But if it's about the texture you are worried about, yes, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the 6-month-old wanting smooth texture complementary feeding. That is what is normal. It is when they're about 8-9 months that you begin to bring in something less smooth, something more, coarse and all that. I hope that is clear. Okay. Somebody said giving constant concessions. That is not true. And most time people, so exactly that's what I was saying about the last question. Please don't take all these people say. Just in this era, just forget people say, because it doesn't really even hold water, because people can say anything and doesn't really mean anything. So you need to make sure that you are always knowing the authority. Okay, I'm sure you've not read that in any particular textbook, and I'm sure you've not read it in any of the medical, maybe WHO websites or UNICEF or an hospital website or a dietitian website. So if you've not read it from an authority, don't believe it. It doesn't matter who said it, because people like to pass a lot of wrong myths. I think I just ended my series on myths. I took about 70 myths. So there are lots of myths that people circulate. And unfortunately, I don't know why. Somehow the wrong information tends to go viral more than the right information. But please, you don't need to believe whatever anybody say. It is not true. Don't believe them. Okay. If you want information on what is true, make sure you go to the right website. WHO, UNICEF, NHS, real hospitals and organizations that are held in hand, and you're reading from them. But from your neighbor, just forget it. All right, I think my time is almost up. I did see an CS and when tried, I'm not sure. Okay, this is a fine. You say you did CS and breast milk was not coming out well. No, CS does not mean your breast milk will not come out. Yes, no, that's not true. Okay, so people always believe, unless you were sleeping and they didn't give your baby to breastfeed, having a CS is not an excuse not to breastfeed, because most days these days we do CS with you awake. So it's a spinal anesthesia, you are awake, your baby is crying. Immediately after you have done the operation, they can give your baby to breastfeed. And please start breastfeeding your baby within the first 1 hour. I know sometimes the nurses are very, God bless them, they are trying to be nice, they want you to rest, they want you to do that. But really, it's not necessary, okay? You need to breastfeed your baby within the first 1 hour, and you can do it even with CS, unless you have a complication and maybe for whatever reason you have to sleep, and when you slept they have to take you to maybe intensive care or whatever. Unless that, then of course the nurses have to feed your baby with formula. But as soon as you are awake, please put your baby to the breast and let your baby be with you if the baby is otherwise well. So these days, even CS will give your baby to you. Even from theater, you can start breastfeeding your baby, honestly. So but you can still do it. I believe you can still do it. All right, so I was toasting your baby is 7 months old already. There's not 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 months, 4 weeks. 6 months, 4 weeks is actually 7 months old in our own diary. So, but the answer is correct. The answer is correct. Okay, 5 weeks, 5 months yet to roll. Don't worry, just give the baby a little bit more time. So maybe it's a little bit more time. Okay, Tosi said there was an error. Okay, exactly, because I was worried when you say your 6 month old is not taking. Okay, you say your baby is not taking anything, so you just relax, okay, and then go back. I always find that you need to do it slowly. For example, the first time you're giving complimentary food, you just need to give only 1 spoon or 3 spoons. Don't give them 200 mils of pap because they've been taking 120 mils of breast milk. Then you want to go to 120 mils of pap or 120 mils of cereal. It's not going to work. They're not going to finish it. They're going to struggle with that. So you also have to be patient. I mean, please, did you watch the videos, Tosin? Because you say you've gone through it. Please watch those videos. And when you're watching it this time around, don't multitask. Don't be watching it and you're doing 1001 things. Take your time to really understand what you're watching. Take your time and go back and be patient because you have just done it for the first 1 month. So you are still in early phase. So there's no reason for you to worry. Okay, you need to be patient. The pap you make, is it tasty? Does it have taste in your own mouth? How did you make it? Is it watery? Is it thick? There are a lot of things you can do. You have to try one food. We say we try one food for 1 week, at least always 13 times before you can say your baby is not taking that. And then before you try something else. So you have to do it patiently and don't, but like I told you, even for your baby at this age, most of your baby is still going to be food is still going to be breast milk anyway. So you are just only gradually adding the complementary feeding. So don't try to rush through it. I always tell mothers like yours, like your baby is just 7 months old now, and you're already worried about complementary feeding. That means you are trying too much because there's no way you have offered all the possible food available in 1 month. It is not possible. So if you've done that, then you've tried too much. So you have to be patient each time. And the fact that you try one thing one day, your baby didn't take it, does not mean the baby is not going to take it the following day or the following week or other. So you have to go back and try it again. Okay. And you have to be patient. And you have to remember what I said when you're trying it, first day, 1 spoon, that's fine. But make sure you're also doing it the right way, it is right taste and all that. All those information, I'm sure you have them. We have a lot of tips as well on our Facebook group on complementary feeding and all that. Please go through them, even down to color, down to the presentation. Everything is so important. And be patient. Don't be in a hurry that maybe we'll quickly finish all the plates and everything. No, you have to be patient and all that. I know some babies could be a little bit more fussy, but you have to do it gradually and you have to do it. If you need more help, get to your pediatrician or get to the dietitian. They can give you further support, but you are just starting. So just relax and approach it all over again. I'm sure you get it. Is it okay for baby to sit at 4 months? It's okay. So babies, when we tell you the average age for doing sin is 6, some babies will do it a little bit earlier, some babies will do it a little bit later. It's still average. So we don't worry if your baby is doing things earlier than normal. It's not going to bother us. We actually worry if they're not doing it at the after some time that we expect them to have done it. So no reason to worry. Okay, somebody said, can my 10-month-old take the same milk with me? No, a 10-month-old should be on either breast milk or age appropriate formula. Okay, so you have to buy the formula that is meant for a 10-month-old. The milk that you are taking, your baby can only start taking that kind of milk from age of 1 year. So before 1 year, your baby cannot take the same milk with you. All right. Tosin, I hope you've understood all my advice. Thank you so much. All right, I think we're rounding up now. I just want to be sure I've answered all the questions. Somebody said, when is the ideal time to introduce formula and other foods to babies? Okay, so babies should be on exclusive breast milk only for the first 6 months. After 6 months, you can introduce complementary feeding. And when we mean complementary feeding, we meant giving the baby solid, semi-solid food, other food apart from breast milk. You don't ever have to give formula because even when you are giving when you start giving complementary foods, you can keep breastfeeding. You should keep breastfeeding, not even you can. You should keep breastfeeding. And as long as you are breastfeeding, your baby is getting milk, you don't need to buy formula, but you can get other solid food to give. And we have a whole lot of teachings on podcast, on our website, on our Facebook group on complementary feeding is so important, because I think it's the most frequently asked questions that mother has about feeding. So it will be nice to go through all that. But 0 to 6 months breast milk only, from 6 months breast milk plus any other food in the world. But then we start talking about the quantity, we start talking about the texture, we start talking about what to mix, we start talking about different classes of food. So that is the information you need to be aware of when you're giving. And complementary feeding is not formula feeding. You don't ever actually have to buy formula as long as you're breastfeeding. That is the truth. But some mothers say, I'm working, I'm there, and my baby's still need milk. Okay, I'll get formula, but we will prefer you give breast milk as well, rather. Okay, what do you do in a case when a baby of 5 years has low temperature? So what do you mean by low temperature? So low temperature for us is any temperature below 36. So what you need to do is wear clothes for them, keep them warm. If you're in an environment where the weather is cold or something, put on your heaters and all that. But if you wear sweater, double up the clothing and all that, give the child a warm drink or something, then it will warm up. So that is what you do. But make sure first that your baby is actually having low temperature and it's not a thermometer error, because there are lots of most thermometers don't read low temperature. They are not actually designed to do that. So if you are getting 34, 35 from your thermometers, it's actually a thermometer that has faults, because most of them cannot read that low temperature. But if you actually feel your baby is really cold, baby is actually complaining of cold as well, then you can do what I just said about how to warm them up. All right. Okay, I guess this is my final question. Zizi Beauty, hello, good to see you again. Good to see you too. God bless you. May God bless you. Thank you so much. You just only came to come and give me some nice. Thank you so much, Zizi Beauty. I appreciate you. Um, I was thinking it's a question. All right, I guess I finished. Oh, lovely. I finished all the questions. Okay, final question on Facebook. 10 months old refuse to eat, but we eat little swallow. So good. Baby is eating. So baby is refusing to eat, but not eat swallow. So I'm used to mother saying contradictory things. So baby is refusing to eat, but your baby is able to swallow, take swallow. That tells me that baby can eat. Okay, I know what you meant. Baby is not eating the quantity you want. I understand, but it's a good start. So pack the swallow with a lot of things. Make sure there's protein there. Make sure there's vegetable with wedu, okra, whatever. Put the crayfish and all of that. Then you build on that. So maybe it's adding swallow. So swallow is a regular feature for you. Then you can start adding other food. That is how you build it up. So your baby can eat swallow. There's no reason why they cannot eat other food. You have to make sure that the way we present the food, the way we prepare it also matters to children. And make sure your children also eat with you so they get comfortable with eating. All right. So I think my time is up. I gotta go now. Okay. I think I've answered this question. Yeah, I've already told you what to do with that swallow thing. Yeah. Somebody is asking what to do with allergies. Avoid whatever is causing the allergies. That's all you need to do. Avoid whatever is causing the allergies. Okay, our time is up. It's already 7 p.m. So if you still have any question, please go to our Facebook group. From Monday to Saturday, you can post your questions there. I'll be there. All my colleagues, doctors, pediatricians, surgeons, all of us are there. Our moderators are there helping us as well. So you can post your questions there and you will get answers to your questions. Sorry for Instagram family. We don't do that on Instagram because Instagram does not have that platform for us to be able to do it safely. So we always prefer to do it on our Facebook group. So feel free to post on our Facebook group. You can also read on our website and post on our website. And on our Facebook group, you can ask your question anonymously. You don't have to show your name or your face. So nobody will know who is asking questions. So that is why we also love our Facebook group, because it provides some confidentiality to your questions. And of course, if you want to see any of our pediatricians, you want to have a consultation with them, send us a WhatsApp message and we can arrange that for you. Please remember our outreaches, not just one. We're actually doing 40 of them. We are going to 40 communities throughout Nigeria in May. We have done one last Saturday. We're going to do several of them this Saturday. Please support us. We appreciate your support. Nothing is too small. Support any of our outreaches that are close to you. And of course, you can also, if you're a first-time mom, I have a lot of product for you guys. Please get them. First-time mom companion, frequent health question by first-time mom, the complete package of 100 videos. Yes, and all the manual, everything. Please get them. I tell you, it's your biggest investment into motherhood. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you guys again next week, God willing, on another episode of ATP Live. Today, have a wonderful evening. And it is bye, 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 bye.